It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. There's a reason rappers can turn any story into a hit track. Just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm with over 1,000 attorneys and more than 100 offices nationwide. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, your case could be worth millions. But the truth is, a lot of people either don't file at all or get taken advantage of by insurance companies. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, it's like hiring a legal army that has your back. If you're injured because of someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. No shortcuts, no lowball offers. In fact, they've secured some major verdicts in the past. For example, in Florida, they got a victim who was in a life-altering car crash, $12 million. 34 times the highest insurance offer. They got another victim in Philadelphia, $26 million. 40 times the highest insurance offer. Not all law firms are created equal. Morgan & Morgan is the biggest for a reason. They will fight for the biggest award possible and have won a lot. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless you win. That's right, no upfront costs. They only get paid if you get paid. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen from your phone's camera. Again, if you find yourself injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Don't say I never told you nothing, man. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're getting back into Lil Uzi Vert. Okay? Now, y'all know just a couple days ago, we read through the lawsuit from the Jane Doe that sued Lil Uzi Vert. She was claiming workplace harassment, sexual harassment, failure to pay overtime. She had sued both Uzi and Roc Nation. There has been some rumbling circulating online that this Jane Doe possibly may have dismissed this case. I have not seen any official uploads into the docket about the dismissal. I haven't seen the judge sign off on the dismissal as of yet. But I will say that XXL, I don't know how they obtained it, but XXL has an alleged copy of a filing for dismissal for Jane Doe. Okay? And clearly this was sent to Roc Nation. So I'm guessing Roc Nation disclosed this to XXL because that's the defendant respondent whose name is on here, not Uzi. Let me go ahead and pull it up for y'all. So as you can see here, this is filed by plaintiff petitioner Jane Doe. Defendant respondent is Roc Nation LLC. And this is a request for dismissal. The case number is visible up there. If you look up the case number, it will come up with this case, but you have to know where to look. Okay, so this says a conformed copy will not be returned by the clerk unless a method of return is provided with the document. This form may not be used for dismissal of a derivative action or a class action or any party or cause of action in a class action. To the clerk, please dismiss this action as follows. You see that she has put an X in the B section for complaint in section 1. In section 2, we have without prejudice. Now, we've seen on the internet that people are claiming that this lawsuit has been dismissed with prejudice. With prejudice would mean that it could not be filed again. However, it was without prejudice. Of course, this is a request for dismissal. We don't have an official dismissal, at least not that I've seen or that anyone else has circulated. So this is where things stand at the moment. Okay. 2, they say complete in all cases except family law cases. This says the court did or did not waive court fees and costs for a party in this case. So they did not waive the court fees. This was submitted November 6th and through Eric George. Okay. attorney or party without attorney for plaintiff petitioner. All right. So the attorney filed a dismissal, and this is again for Rock Nation. Now, I'm not a legal professional, so I don't know if this is to dismiss Rock Nation, if this is dismissing the entire complaint in totality, and if it is, people are wondering if this is due to a settlement. A lot of people believe that there's been a settlement placed in private. But the other part that people don't seem to be speaking on is the possibility that this may have been filed in the wrong jurisdiction. Okay? Now, if y'all can remember, Jane Doe, I don't know where she lives today. She may have moved back to California. She was a resident in Los Angeles at the time when she met Uzi Vert. She was working as an assistant to a sales rep, a VIP sales rep at Balenciaga. They met, and he immediately offered her a job as his assistant off of one interaction. Okay. He offered her, $50,000 salary. So she was originally hired by Uzi Vert in California under his LLC. And eventually she ended up becoming assistant for him on tour in 2022, right? After his tour concluded in 2022, and that was a festival tour, she didn't hear from him, right? So 2023 comes around, and Lil Uzi and his team reaches back out to her, and they extend an offer for $75,000 salary instead of $50,000, right? She flies out to New York, meets with Rock Nation allegedly. They offer her $75,000. Then she takes a meeting with Desiree Perez from Rock Nation allegedly. Desiree offers her $100,000 salary and also says, we would like you to relocate to New York, in which Desiree allegedly offered her $5,000 for her moving expenses in order to move to New York. Now, from the time that she allegedly became a member of the Rock Nation team, because she was some part of his management team / assistant, allegedly, I got to keep saying that. The same day that she conducted this meeting and I guess accepted the role, Lil Uzi Vert began allegedly flirting with her, wanted her to spend the night at his hotel room, to which he was promising her that he wouldn't try nothing. He knows how to control himself, etc., etc. But he wouldn't take no for an answer. He kept trying to persuade her to spend the night at his hotel, talking about he don't like to sleep alone. Okay, he just needed somebody there to be with him. Strange. Okay. As the year progressed, Uzi allegedly began to send her DMs on Instagram and text, and started asking for explicit photos, wanting her to send things in Instagram DMs in vanish mode, where once you see it, it's gone. And I think he was also sending videos or footage of himself in vanish mode as well, right? She's got numerous texts of him requesting to see her body, asking for photo, video, etc. And she also has claims of harassment in where they got into issues with allegedly there was an incident where she forgot to book a hotel room for one of his entourage members. He exploded on her and basically was like, a black rapper could never yell at a white woman or something like that, or say, stop being weak to a white woman, but that's what I'm telling you, stop being so fucking weak. Allegedly. At some point during this the year of 2023, he allegedly offered the assistant services to his girlfriend JT, she had fired her own assistant. So then she took on the role of assisting both Uzi and JT without receiving any additional pay. She also had issues about coming out of pocket for her own expenses and things that she felt needed to be reimbursed, to which she was always being declined. She had that issue from the first year on tour with Uzi in 2022. They never rectified it. They offered her more money. So I guess she felt like that was you know, an exchange. But as she continued to work with Uzi, it was still more expectations of her buying things, buying clothing, food, and other things for Uzi and his entourage, to which she was never reimbursed. She claimed that she was working um, endless hours, at some days 10 hours a day. Some days she was working from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, allegedly, right? So therefore she was asking for overtime pay. I don't know how that's going to work, but if she was conducting a lot of this work in New York or employed in New York, then I can understand that this thing may end up being refiled in New York rather than in California. Do I know that to be a fact? No, I'm just going through the possibilities because everybody is jumping to the conclusion that she was automatically paid and settled out of court, and we don't have any indication stating that. We just have this dismissal request that Roc Nation received. And Roc Nation is the only name on this. I'm going to show it one more time. And this was a request of a dismissal of her complaint without prejudice, meaning it can be refiled. All right. And that's as of November 6th. Don't know where things go from here. So as that is up in the air, we'll just have to see if anything else comes out. If it remains quiet, then we could probably assume that there was a settlement. But that's not the only legal issues that Uzi Vert is facing currently. All right. So there was that one, but there's also a copyright lawsuit out there about the hit record Just Wanna Rock. There's a guy that's claiming that Lil Uzi Vert actually stole the song from him. Now, of course, I don't always know how to take these copyright infringement cases. I do think that there are instances where artists or people in the industry, writers, producers, A&Rs, etc., could possibly take from lesser known artists. It wouldn't be the first nor the last time. But sometimes with these songs that have very simple songwriting structures, repetitive hook structures that anybody could come up with, I kind of side-eye the situation because people always kind of look for an end to find a way to try to blame somebody. So we're going to get into that. And there's also an assault lawsuit out there currently about Lil Uzi Vert. So there's a lot going on around his name all simultaneously at this current time. All right. So let's get to this copyright thing, and then we're going to get to the assault. So here we have the complaint for copyright infringement. This is filed in United States District Court, Western District of New York, from Sharif K. Boucher, also known as Royale or Reef Royal. Okay. Never heard of this artist before, but they claim that he had an actual record deal once upon a time in the music industry, and that people at Atlantic Records allegedly had access to his music, and he believes this is how it was obtained by Uzi Vert. All right, so here the defendants are Samir Woods, that's Lil Uzi Vert, Atlantic Records, Generation Now, which is the label who originally signed, well, I won't say originally, but they used to manage him at one point. Matter of fact, I think they're still involved with him, but that's Don Cannon and DJ Drama's label. We've got Roc Nation in here, and we've got Warner Music Group, which is the parent company of Atlantic Records. Okay? We'll keep going. So the factual background that's being presented here is plaintiff released Pain and Pleasure on August 15, 2022. On October 17, 2022, defendants released Just Wanna Rock Ah Ah, which copied plaintiff's original hook, When I Rock Ah Ah. He claims that a musicological Analysis shows 93 to 97% derivation between the two works. Plaintiff had prior contact with Atlantic Records and submitted music to Lanner Gaba, now president of Hip Hop, R&B, and Global Music. Plaintiff's Instagram content received engagement from Atlantic Records artists Cardi B, Fat Joe, Teddy Riley, and producers affiliated with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Justin Bieber, and Nicki Minaj. Okay, so he claims that his Instagram content has people tuning into him that are pretty well known in the industry. Once again, he says people such as Cardi B, Fat Joe, Teddy Riley, and producers affiliated with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, Justin Bieber, and Nicki Minaj, although we do not have a direct reference to whom these producers are. He says Meta removed Pain and Pleasure without notice, forcing plaintiff to re-upload the song multiple times. The original uploaded song is still inaccessible on social media. So I guess Pain and Pleasure was, is that the original song? Yes, I do believe that is the original song, okay? So Meta removed the song and it became inaccessible on social media. An Instagram reel featuring Pain and Pleasure garnered over 1 million views, and another 30-second reel got 100 hours plus of watch time, okay? So he's saying that this Pain and Pleasure song that he released in 2022 was getting a lot of attention on Instagram, okay? He has a music video for it on YouTube that came out April 1st, 2023. It's got about 11,000 views on it. So do with that what you will, but it's we'll move forward. Just Wanna Rock was used in Fortnite, TikTok, Blue Beetle, NFL, WWE, and Grammy events. Warner Music Group used the song's success to secure licensing deals with TikTok, Meta, and an AI company. Uzi's performance rate for the song ranges from $100,000 to $300,000 per show, with multiple national and international tours. Universal Music Group also attempted to promote another derivative version of Pain and Pleasure on TikTok, but was rejected after its licensing deal failed. What you mean UMG attempted to promote another version? UMG and others continued to release derivative works. Interesting. So, what other derivative works are we talking about here? Who else released derivative work of this? Plaintiff registered the sound recording on May 2nd, 2023, and the composition on April 15th, 2024. Okay. But the song came out in 2022. June 6, 2025, my attorney at the time sent a cease and desist notice to Lil Uzi's label. Okay, claims for relief. Count 1, copyright infringement. Plaintiff owns valid copyrights in Pain and Pleasure. Defendants copy original protectable elements without authorization. The copied hook formed the core of Just Wanna Rock and was monetized across platforms. Defendants had access to plaintiff's work and acted willfully. Okay. Plaintiff seeks actual damages under 17 U.S.C. 504B, including lost licensing, streaming and sync revenue, indirect profits from commercial use, reputational harm, and market dilution. Plaintiff estimates damages in excess of $5 million. Okay. Plaintiff seeks statutory damages for the sound recording under 504C. Plaintiff acknowledges statutory damages for the composition are unavailable under 412 due to timing of registration. 6, relief requested. Plaintiff respectfully requests judgment that defendants infringe plaintiff's copyrights, actual and statutory damages as permitted by law, injunctive relief to prevent further exploitation, retroactive publishing credit and ownership share, cost of litigation, and any other relief the court deems just. He also has declarations and exhibits, which will be useful. We're going to skip past this because we already read through this. All right, so it looks like he had to refile because in this same document we have an updated version, I guess. So Factual allegations are similar but not completely the same. Plaintiff is the original creator of the musical work Pain and Pleasure, released publicly on August 15th, 2022. On October 17th, 2022, defendants released Just Wanna Rock, which contains melodic, lyrical, and thematic elements substantially similar to Pain and Pleasure. Plaintiff commissioned a forensic that part throws me off. Musicological analysis confirming a 93-97% derivation between the two works. Defendants monetized Just Wanna Rock across major platforms including Fortnite, TikTok, NFL, WWE, and DC Films, while plaintiff's original work was suppressed and removed from meta platforms, which I find to be interesting because the songs ain't all that similar. Warner Music Group cited Just Wanna Rock as a key asset in its AI licensing strategy and catalog monetization, including a $1.2 billion joint venture with Bain Capital. Plaintiff registered the sound recording of Pain and Pleasure with the U.S. Copyright Office on May 2nd, 2023, and the composition on April 15th, 2024. Plaintiff was denied access to brand endorsement opportunities comparable to Cardi B's rumored $50 to $55 million Louis Vuitton deal. You weren't going to get that, sir. Rihanna's Fenty LVMH partnership and Beyonce's $60 million Ivy Park agreement. No, that would not be comparable because they got that money based on their celebrity. Now, you could have gotten some endorsement deals, but they wouldn't have been that. June 6, 2025, my attorney at the time sent a cease and desist notice to Lil Uzi's label. August 5th, this year, August 2025, Atlantic Records responded by having their four-time Grammy-winning artist Lizzo post what she called a parody remix of Pain and Pleasure on all social media platforms. Was it a parody remix of your song or was it a parody remix of Uzi's? As of October 3rd, 2025, Lil Uzi continues to perform I Just Wanna Rock. He was filmed at a celebrity jeweler's bar mitzvah performing the record. Plaintiff owns valid copyrights in Pain and Pleasure. Defendants copied, distributed, and monetized substantial portions of plaintiff's work without authorization. The infringement was willful and caused significant financial and reputational harm. Prayer for relief. They want to enter a judgment in favor of plaintiff on all claims and award actual damages in excess of $110 million. Bro, went from $5 million to $110, including lost revenue, indirect profits, and reputational harm. Award statutory damages for the sound recording under 17 U.S.C. 504. C. Grant injunctive relief to prevent further use, licensing, or AI exploitation of the infringing material. Award costs and reasonable attorney fees if applicable. Grant such other and further relief as the court deems just and proper. So this was resubmitted just a couple weeks ago on October 17th of 2025 with a new lawyer. Wow. Exhibit A, damages charts. Lost streaming revenue, $8 million plus estimated value. Lost licensing and sync deals, $12 million plus. Independent artists don't make that much in sync. Whatever, you got it, homie. Missed brand endorsements, fashion, liquor, auto, $25 million plus. Market dilution and reputational harm, $25 million plus. Because he basically saying Uzi ran off with the deals he was supposed to get. AI catalog exploitation and future loss, $25 million. Total estimated damages, $110 million. So he wants all the money that Uzi may have possibly made off of this Just Wanna Rock. Okay. Declaration of Sharif. This is the artist suing. I, Sharif K. Boucher, professionally known as Royale or Reef Royale, declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1746, I am the original creator of the musical work titled Pain and Pleasure, which I released publicly on August 15, 2022, on all major streaming platforms. On October 17th, he restates all of this stuff. Late September 2025, I earned enough money to finally commission a forensic musicologist from Musicologize, which concluded that the two works shared genre, tempo, hook structure, lyrical phrasing, and thematic content. The expert estimated a 93 to 97% derivation, meaning that the songs are 93 to 97% the same. Now, just for reference, I'm going to play a little bit of Royale's Pain and Pleasure, all right? Because this is the song in question. Hopefully copyright doesn't, impede on this, but I just want y'all to hear the reference that he's using.
Think I changed? Nah. Pain and pleasure when I rock. Biggest Lizzo with the rock. I'ma smoke it till it pop. I'm selective with the pain and pleasure when I rock. Pain and pleasure when I I'm selective with the pain and pleasure when I rock. How I leave it.
All right, so that's what you got here. Pain and pleasure when I rock. Biggest Lizzo when I rock. Okay? And it does have a similar tempo. It does have a similar drum beat. And both songs do use the phrase wanna rock in some form or fashion, right? So that's his song. I can spot differences between the two, but there are some similarities. You know what I mean? Is it a 93 to 97% similarity? You be the judge. You tell me. Okay? He says he's maintained professional contact with Atlantic Records since at least 2012, including email correspondence and in-person visits. He submitted original music to Atlantic executive Lanry Gaba between 2012 and 2015. All right, so he says that he's been trying to work with them for some time. He's even visited the label. According to Atlantic Records' official website, Gaba is now president of hip hop, R&B, and global music, overseeing artist Lil Uzi Vert. This establishes a direct institutional pathway for access to his work. So the last time you saw this person was 2015. Okay. Prior to the release, we read that already. I don't want to keep rereading the same things though. In 2025, Warner Music entered a licensing agreement with an AI company, citing the success of Just Wanna Rock as a key asset. Talked about that before. UMG attempted to promote a derivative version of Pain and Pleasure on TikTok, but the campaign was rejected after UMG's licensing deal with TikTok fell through. Okay, I remember that. That was last year. Despite this, UMG and affiliated artists continue to create and distribute derivative works based on my original composition. I wonder if he's talking about Everybody by Nicki. I don't know. I can't say that for sure, though. Following the viral success of Pain and Pleasure, numerous independent and major label artists began releasing songs that copied its hook, structure, and style. So because of the popularity of Lil Uzi Vert's Just Wanna Rock, a bunch of people decided they wanted to make songs that sounded like it, and he is claiming credit for influencing that style and being written out of history. After he released Pain and Pleasure, Meta removed the song from his platforms without notice or explanation. This removal obstructed public access and forced me to re-upload the record multiple times in an effort to restore visibility. Now, I wonder why Meta was removing the song. Is there some kind of sample in there that was causing issues? I don't know. Meta removed the original upload of Pain and Pleasure, which remains inaccessible to this day. This suppression further limited my ability to promote and monetize my work, while the infringed material was widely distributed and commercialized. Despite these setbacks, Pain and Pleasure achieved significant engagement. One 30-second Instagram reel featuring the song garnered over 1 million views and 100 hours of watch time. Says he's retained screenshots, so he says his record was catching some steam. Just Wanna Rock has achieved 5-time platinum certification and surpassed 1 billion streams across streaming platforms. Uzi's been getting $100,000 to $300,000 per show. Okay, after both songs were out, he registered the sound recording with the U.S. Copyright Office in May of 2023, and then the composition a year later. Probably should have done that ahead of time, but I don't know what the circumstances were that delayed it. Okay, so he's just restating most of what we've already read. Again, I don't want to keep rereading the same contents. All right, looks like we're getting into some exhibits here. When you press play on Pain and Pleasure, this is what pops up. The song can't be played because it's currently unavailable. We don't have an explanation as to why it's unavailable, though, other than that Meta knocked it down. Meta, Instagram, and Facebook search results. Okay, this is his musicology report from Musicologize. They say, Dear Sharif Royal, I was asked to analyze two works and provide an opinion on the accuracy of specific claims and observations of similarities between them. The two works, Pain and Pleasure by Sharif Royale and Just Wanna Rock by Lil Uzi Vert. Audio files of Pain and Pleasure and Just Wanna Rock were provided to me via email. The two works share a common theme. The two works were found to share several similarities. The two works share a common theme. Just Wanna Rock refers to the phrase itself, which is readily interpretable as a metaphor of casual sex without commitment. Hit It Once, No Ties, while Pain and Pleasure refers to values and compromises around sex throughout the work. The tempos of the two works are similar. Both are between 130 to 150 beats per minute, classically referred to by the familiar Italian indication allegro. In fact, they both reside in the core band of allegro, which is generally regarded as 120 to 168 beats per minute. The two works share this drum pattern known as the Jersey Club beat. Definitely Jersey Club influenced on both, which neither originate. Exhibit C. The same rhythm can also be shown in a way that more clearly emphasizes the two halves of the rhythm. The first two hits are placed on the first and second beats, and the latter half of the measure is divided into three notes in a syncopated rhythm called tresillo, which is a common feature in reggaeton music. Both songs rely heavily on a shared device, the repeated vocalization, while nonverbal sounds are frequently used in rap, yeah, and laughing sounds, for example. These two works use in similar ways. First, simply in that they repeat the as successive quarter notes, and Secondly, in that the work's signature phrases are first person present tense declarations that end with the identical word rock, each with I, followed by a present tense verb giving them parallel structure. Okay. Both works in their respective lyrical couplets rhyme, substitute, and equate the word rock in the first line with the vocalization in the second. Just Wanna Rock says, I just wanna rock. I just wanna Pain and pleasure when I rock, Pain and pleasure when I This is the thing that I hate about overly simple hooks. I've been having this complaint for years. In my opinion, these sections comprise the most essential gestures, the hook or the heart of the respective works. It has been my pleasure to respond, and I'm happy to answer any further questions. Brian McBrearty, okay? And I'm sure they will be brought to trial if it gets there. Exhibit D, certificate of registration. So I'm guessing this is the copyright. Yes. Okay. Year of completion, 2014. Damn, you made this song in 2014? Shit! He put it out August 15th, 2022, and I believe he went to jail in between that 8-year split. Okay? And I learned that from reading all hip-hop's description of this situation. He got out and decided to put his old music out and try to regain his footing in music. So this is just his copyright registration, all right? Here we have YouTube, Pack-a-Puncher, Fortnite, Lil Uzi Vert emote, November 8th, 2024. Okay, so he's just showing you the, why the Lil Uzi Vert nigga look like Travis Scott? Anyway, just showing you the reach that this song, Just Wanna Rock, has had for Uzi Vert and Atlantic, right? So here he shows his engagement with Lanry Gaba, who is Atlantic Records president. This is an email from March 25th, 2015 regarding a meeting. Okay. why is blank? Why I don't tell you the nature of that though? We have another email from January 2nd, 2013. Hey, let's schedule some time next week. Okay. So at some point, he met with the president of Atlantic Records. This is the former president holding up my music and logo. Okay, so this is Mike Kaiser, who is still over at Atlantic to this day, holding up Royale's music. This is a very old picture. So I guess they listened to his demo. We got Lizzo. Pain and Pleasure. States here, for legal purposes, this is not an official musical release. For legal purposes, this is a fun parody remix. Okay. So I guess Lizzo did remix this nigga shit. That gives some... Whoa, you might be on to something, Royale. I like when a motherfucker come with receipts. This is a fun parody remix, like any other parody on the internet. For legal purposes, this is just a fun recap of my in real life party last night. For legal purposes, if you take this video, okay. Now I hope this wasn't spliced together. That's all I can say. And they gonna check out if this was spliced together, brother. So hopefully it ain't. But it seems, according to his allegations, that Lizzo did remix his record. And remember, his record old as shit. You could tell because Lizzo don't even look like this no more. Now, I don't know where that stands. There's limited docket information on that copyright lawsuit. It was just filed last month. They do have a judge who's supposedly available. They're going to try to figure out some things concerning that. That's that last Lizzo slide was the end of his exhibits. There's nothing more. Now here we have an amended complaint from Von Trotman, who claims that Lil Uzi Vert put hands on him. So let's get into this alleged assault, shall we? Plaintiff Von Trotman, by his attorneys, Sacco and Phyllis LLP, as and for his amended complaint against the defendants Samir B. Woods, Uzi Vert LLC, and John Doe's 1 through 10, respectfully amends his complaint by right pursuant to Federal R. Civil P. 15A1B, alleges as follows. On April 17th, 2024, at approximately 2 to 3 p.m., Plaintiff Von Trotman was attacked by defendant Samir B. Woods, otherwise known as Lil Uzi Vert, and John Doe's 1 through 10 in broad daylight between 27th and 28th Street on Broadway when plaintiff took a photograph of defendant Samir Woods in his vehicle. Defendant Samir Woods is a wealthy and well-known musician with a checkered history of altercations with strangers. Defendant Samir Woods took personal issue with this photograph being taken by plaintiff and directed his entourage and subordinates, defendants John Doe's 1 through 10, to attack plaintiff. Defendant Samir B. Woods then emerged from his vehicle and descended upon plaintiff as well, while plaintiff was being choked, kicked, and punched by John Doe's 1 through 10. Defendants Samir B. Woods and John Doe's 1 through 10 then retreated to their vehicles. Following this unprovoked and baseless attack, plaintiff advised defendant Samir B. Woods that he, defendant, had broken plaintiff's cell phone during the melee. Defendant unrolled his window, acknowledged that he broke plaintiff's phone, and then, to add insult to literal injury, threw a handful of $100 bills into the crowd while calling plaintiff an explicative. Defendant Samir Woods and John Doe's 1 through 10 drove away from the scene of the attack. As a result of this incident, plaintiff Von Trotman sustained severe and permanent psychological and physical injuries, including to his neck, back, and right shoulder, wherein he has to date undergone at least one surgical operation on his right shoulder and will likely need additional surgical treatment in the near future. Woo, shit. Uzi, they swinging the legal Uzi at your ass, sir. We're going to skip over some of these formalities. They already kind of got into some of this. I'm going to skip past the things that have already been stated. They go into the roles of the John Does, who clearly we don't know because their names are not being disclosed at this time. All right. So here we get back to the incident, right? On April 17, 2024, at approximately 2 to 3 p.m., Vaughn was on Broadway. We already read that part, right? So apparently they were in front of Sweet Green in Manhattan, New York, all right? Between 27th and 28th Street on Broadway. Lil Uzi Vert was in a beige minivan SUV, and his entourage was in another large black SUV. Defendant Samir Woods primarily rode in the back seat of the large beige minivan along with some of the Joes 1 through 10. The remainder of the John Does were in the black. Upon information and belief, Samir Woods owned, rented, or otherwise furnished the aforementioned vehicles used by all defendants at all times relevant herein. Upon information and belief, he had attended a regular business meeting with non-party Roc Nation on both his own behalf and that of Uzi Vert LLC. So this person is not trying to implicate Roc Nation for Lil Uzi Vert's wrongdoing, or alleged wrongdoing, I should state. Okay? So they had taken a break from their regular business dealings at Roc Nation, approximately 5.5 Avenue blocks east of the same offices, to visit a non-party Sweet Green. Okay? On April 17th, same day, they all pulled up, all right? They proceeded to slowly drive a short distance south toward the intersection of Broadway and 27th. Plaintiff Von Trotman then walked in the same direction as the aforementioned vehicles to the nearby intersection of 27th and Broadway, where he planned on sitting in the public seating area. Before taking a seat, plaintiff took a photograph of the vehicles near the intersection of Broadway and 27th Street. Now, why he chose to take a photograph of these cars, I don't know. Okay, as he took the photographs, Samir Woods rolled down his window, pointed at plaintiff, and exclaimed unprovoked, "Get that nigga in the blue." All right? So allegedly, Uzi saw him taking a photo of their cars. He looked out the window and said, "Get that nigga." Okay, to his entourage of security and subordinates. Okay, he also has exhibits, which is a photograph taken by plaintiff at the outset of the incident. The photograph was taken by plaintiff at this moment and was recovered from plaintiff's damaged cell phone, which was broken during the ensuing melee. So this is the photo of the cream or white minivan. This is Lil Uzi in the back seat. This is the photo that he took that allegedly aggravated Uzi and got him out of the car. Upon information and belief, Samir Woods holds himself out to the public to be a member of the Blood Street Gang, a violent gang known for wearing red and having long-standing disputes with their rival street gang, the Crips, who have taken to wearing certain shades of blue. Plaintiff Von Trotman was wearing a blue jacket at the time of the attack. Plaintiff Von Trotman is not a member of the Crips nor any street gang. So perhaps Lil Uzi was under the impression that some guy in blue was taking a photo of him. Perhaps it was a op. So they descended to pounce on this man. Now, Plaintiff Vaughn says he is a local religious leader in his Manhattan community that prior to this incident worked for Whole Foods for a living. Okay? So he a church-going, Whole Foods working citizen. John Does 1 through 10 did not initiate their attack on Plaintiff Vaughn until specifically directed by Samir Woods. All right? So they weren't moving until Uzi gave his word, y'all go get that motherfucker. John Does 1 through 10 did attack plaintiff to satisfy the unreasonable anger of Uzi. Both Samir Woods and John Does 1 through 10 were aware of the command and the meaning when John Does 1 through 10 took action on said command. Does 1 through 10 were quite plainly functioning as agents, employees, or servants of Uzi when they instantaneously acted on his orders to attack. At the explicit direction of Uzi, his entourage of security guards and subordinates, Does 1 through 10, exited the vehicle and attacked Plaintiff Vaughn, surrounding him and rendering him unable to see the vehicles or people around or behind him. Uzi directly advised any members of his entourage of security guards and subordinates, Does 1 through 10 still in the vehicle, to get out as the attack started to escalate. I hate how this is written. Samir B. Woods exited the vehicle and joined his entourage of security guards and subordinates, those 1 through 10, as plaintiff was being punched, kicked, and choked at the direction of Uzi. As Samir Woods exited the vehicle and joined his entourage to descend upon plaintiff, he ironically says, "What we doing? What we doing?" All right? Which is very common slang. You know, when niggas start getting active, they saying, "What we doing? What we doing?" Why you asking? I don't know, because you already told them what to do. Uzi descended upon Plaintiff Vaughn, screaming explicative and insults while Plaintiff Vaughn was being attacked by Samir Woods' entourage of security and subordinates. At some point, one of the members of Samir Woods' entourage of security guards and subordinates, those 1 through 10, intervened to briefly hold Uzi back for an unknown period of time, as Uzi continued to scream and run towards Plaintiff. So we got Exhibit 2 here, which is a still photograph, and this is Uzi here with the red hair. Man, I would have thought this was a woman, but that's Uzi, okay? And this is the man, this is the plaintiff, the alleged victim in the blue. So we have literal red v blue. The above still from this video annexed as Exhibit 3 was captured at 6 seconds. This video is hosted for filing purposes and circulated to defendant's counsel prior to the date of filing. Annexed here 2 as Exhibit 3. First video of the altercation is a video taken by bystanders and circulated to plaintiff's counsel by way of certain witnesses to the incident. Uzi had bright red hair on April 17, 2024. No shit. The brightest. Plaintiff Von Trotman was forced to spin around during portions of the attack committed by John Doe's 1 through 10. Plaintiff Von Trotman was unable to see behind him as he was struck from the back and being choked. All this from a photo. Upon information and belief, Samir B. Woods attacked, punched, or kicked Plaintiff Von Trotman in addition to being attacked by John Doe's 1 through 10. It's 11 niggas. Uzi and his entourage of security guards and subordinates finished attacking Plaintiff Vaughn and entered into their vehicles. During the attack, Samir Woods' entourage of security guards and subordinates broke the cell phone which plaintiff was using to take pictures immediately prior to the attack. During the attack, Uzi did not intervene to stop Doe's from attacking plaintiff. Rather, he continued to shout expletives at plaintiff and encouraged Doe's during the melee. Plaintiff Vaughn was able to confirm that entourage of security guards and subordinates attacked him at the discretion of Uzi during the melee, as he identified them as members of the entourage who entered and emerged from Sweet Green, as well as exited the aforementioned vehicles at the direction of Uzi. They all entered and exited the vehicles at Uzi's command. Plaintiff Vaughn witnessed Uzi emerge from the vehicle during the attack. Vaughn witnessed Uzi return to the vehicle after they concluded the attack. Uzi and his entourage of security guards and subordinates concluded this unprovoked and baseless attack upon Vaughn. They returned to the vehicle. As Uzi's entourage of security guards and subordinates returned to their vehicles, Plaintiff Vaughn exclaimed, "You broke my phone, bro!" Plaintiff Vaughn exclaimed the aforementioned statement to Samir directly. Samir, a.k.a. Uzi, rolled his window down and replied to plaintiff, "Hey, you said I broke your phone? Take that, nigga. Take that." Inaudible, appearing to say something about hundreds. See below for Exhibit 4. So this is a still of Uzi yelling out the window and allegedly throwing, he definitely looked like he got some stacks in his hand. Throwing money out the window. Made it rain hundreds. The above still from this video annexed as Exhibit 5, captured at 17 seconds. So there's a full video of this that I don't have access to. This video is hosted for filing purposes and circulated to defendant's counsel prior to the date. Hold on, are y'all gonna let me in there? Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to have access to that video, so I'm not gonna play it. I did watch it. It is a video of Uzi screaming out the window Dude said, hey, bro, you broke my phone. Uzi did, in fact, say, oh, I broke your phone. And he proceeds to throw hundreds of dollars out the window. Okay, now the video does not show the fight, but it definitely shows the ending of the altercation and Uzi throwing the money out the window, being antagonizing. All right, but I just don't, being that it was password protected, I don't want to show that on YouTube. Okay. Next here, 2 as Exhibit 5. Second video of the altercation is a video taken by bystanders and circulated to plaintiff's counsel by way of certain witnesses to the incident. Samir Woods threw the cash at the wounded plaintiff, Vaughn Trotman. Non-party pedestrian witnesses scrambled to grab the money from the ground as plaintiff was too injured to pick up the money. Plaintiff Vaughn Trotman was disgusted, concerned, and confused at the preceding events. Uzi directed the drivers to leave the scene of the incident. Him and his entourage of security and subordinates then drove away from the scene of the incident. Upon information and belief in June of 2023, Uzi engaged in similar conduct in New York City with these same John Does 1 through 10, wherein Uzi and his entourage brutally assaulted non-party Abdullah Ali for simply looking into Uzi's Rolls Royce. Okay, so they should be rolling around jumping niggas. Said incident resulted in a lawsuit that was dismissed on procedural grounds as plaintiff in that case failed to adequately allege facts sufficient to impose personal jurisdiction on Uzi. In particular, that plaintiff initially sued in New York State Supreme Court, a court with substantially lower pleading standards, and said case was subsequently removed to the Southern District of New York and dismissed by the Honorable Louis L. Stanton. Plaintiff in that particular case did not amend their complaint to comport with federal standards. However, that plaintiff has filed an appeal and upon information and belief has filed a second lawsuit for that same incident in Pennsylvania. One member of Uzi's entourage and team of bodyguards, Kevin Nelson, was arrested in March of 2023 in New York City for possession of an illegal firearm and impersonating a law enforcement officer shortly after Uzi performed that same night on The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon. So they should be out here wreaking havoc. Uzi accepted a plea bargain for an incident in July of 2021 where he was sentenced to 3 years of probation, 1 year of mental health and substance counseling, 1 year of domestic violence counseling, and a 10-year criminal protective order following charges for assault with a firearm, criminal threats, and DV, in addition to a misdemeanor charge for carrying a loaded weapon. This stems from an incident wherein his former girlfriend filed a police report alleging he attacked her in a public cafe, striking her and pressing a firearm into her stomach. So this is so he's referencing the domestic violence issue that a lot of people bring up concerning Lil Uzi Vert, but it's largely been forgotten as he's continued to rise as a star. Plaintiff Vaughn Trotman suffered severe and permanent injuries as a result of this attack, to which plaintiff Vaughn Trotman required shoulder surgery and will likely need additional surgical procedures in the near future. Trotman, as a result of this incident, has injured his neck, back, and right shoulder. My neck and my back. Plaintiff Trotman has expended significant sums in medical treatment for both physical therapy, orthopedic consultations, and arthroscopic surgery to his right arm. As a result of this incident, he's lost gainful employment as he is no longer able to do his physical duties at his former place of employment. Damn. Plaintiff Trotman has lost his job as a result of the injury sustained. Trotman has lost to date approximately $31,000 in wages. Trotman has suffered severe psychological and emotional damages and now fears that Uzi or his entourage of security guards and subordinates will hunt, pursue, harm, or otherwise retaliate against him at any point when he is not secure in his home or with close friends and family. He is now paranoid. Okay, causes of action. 1, assault. Okay, and we've already gone through this, so we don't need to continue this, but one of the counts is assault. They have witnesses. They have witnesses that literally recorded video of this situation. Okay. 2, battery. They basically restate all of the allegations. 3, interference with person or property, outrageous conduct causing emotional distress. They smashed his phone. Luckily, he was able to obtain the photos of proof. Plaintiff was too injured to pick up the money. This is a re-alleging of what we've already read. For aiding and abetting, okay? I would guess that the aiding and abetting would be John Doe's 1 through 10 who were moving at Uzi's request. Five, respondent superior. Okay. Just trying to see if there's anything additionally out of the ordinary. 6, negligent hiring, retention, training, and supervision. Of course, that would also go towards the security for being negligent and, committing this crime when they shouldn't have. What else we got in here? Anything more? No. Okay. So yeah, like I said at the top of the video, man, Lil Uzi Vert is in a lot of legal issues right now. Okay? We have the issue with the assistant. We don't know if that's been concluded. We do have a dismissal without prejudice, presented by defendant Rock Nation. That was Double XL that put that out, but that is not reflected in the docket of the case. Judge, I guess, has not signed off on it, or at least it's not been uploaded into the system. We've got a copyright infringement case where rapper Royale feels like his song Pain and Pleasure was stolen in order to make Lil Uzi's hit record Just Wanna Rock. And we have an assault case that took place in New York. And this man has lost his job, lost his wages, lost his physical ability to do standard things to where he can't even go back to his job. And he has videos that sustain his allegations of being allegedly beat up by Lil Uzi and 10 John Does. And after the incident concluded, he yelled out to Uzi, "Hey, bro, you broke my phone." Uzi says, "Oh, I broke your phone. Take that, nigga, take that." Proceeded to throw money at him and instructed his driver to take off. It's crazy. In Trotman's lawsuit, he also made reference to other violent cases regarding Lil Uzi Vert. Even one that had to be, basically, the person didn't continue to pursue it as they could have, and they eventually filed an appeal and refiled it in Pennsylvania. So we'll just have to see how all of these things pan out. But all of this happening all at once within the time frame of a month surrounding Lil Uzi Vert sounds like some chickens are coming home to roost. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I'll turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I ran for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had to